Good morning, stampers and crafters. I'm really hoping this is working. I am very new at doing live. So let me see if we're up and running. If you're there, I'd love to hear from you. My name is Tina. I'm from Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different where we just do a live card where we're going to make a card. So if you're there and we could do a sound check, that would be wonderful. Love to know that you're there and where you're from. Um, Today's card, let me see if we've, oh, okay, Mary's here. So do I have sound and everything, Mary? This is my first jump into live Facebook. But today, while everybody's hopping on, we are going to use a couple of sets from the new mini catalog and the occasions, or well, the mini catalog and the celebration. So, oh good, thank you, Mary. I'm glad it's working. So, we're going to use two sets. We're going to use the Music from the Heart, which is just perfect for any music lover in your family because it's just adorable. And we're going to use the greeting from the Happy Birthday to You. It's a really beautiful script greeting. I had done this card a week or so ago, and I wanted to change it up a little. I had put it on my blog. Oh, hi, Adrienne from Indiana. Hope you're having good weather there. We're having a beautiful sunny day. I don't think Washington knows what it wants to do for weather. But on this card, I had used some items that were discontinued, and I got some messages about it. So I wanted to readapt the card to what you probably have on hand. Thank you for sharing, Linda, and welcome from Virginia. So this is an easy easel card. And we're going to adapt it to look like, you know how they lift the lid on a piano? That's what we're going to adapt this to. Okay, let's just jump in. Now the sets we're using, Happy Birthday to You. You can actually get this set free right now during celebrations with a $50 order. It's an adorable set. I use these flowers for other projects, and it's just a great set, and you get it free with a $50 order. The Music from the Heart set is in the mini catalog, and just to let you know where it is on page 57. And it's this adorable set. You can turn, guitars, perfect for any music lover. So what we're going to do, I'm going to hope that everything is going to stream correctly, and we're just going to jump in and start making this card. Now, I'm going to try to do, if this turns out, I'm going to try to do live videos, maybe once or twice a week, and this will be separate of the Technique Tuesdays that I do. I still love to do crazy techniques, so we'll just keep that going, and we will try to make a card, once or twice a week. Let's just sit down and make a card. Hi, Deborah. Oh, you're from Washington also. Where are you at? All right. Okay, let's see. What we're going to need is you're going to need a piece of black cardstock, and you're going to need some white scrap cardstock. Now, for this, we are going to cut it in the, I guess there's a name for it, the top fold cut. So that means you're going to take your 8.5 by 11 and you're going to cut it at 4 1/4. I'm going to set that black aside because we're going to need that black. And now you'll do your regular 5.5 score. So move your cutter. Let's do your 5.5 score, and then to get the easel, what you're going to do is you're going to also score it at 2 3/4. We'll line it up there and we'll score it at 2 3/4. And then I'll show you. I usually fold, when I fold mine after I score, I usually fold toward what I call the mountain. So it seems to fold straighter to me. I should grab a bone folder. Let me grab a bone folder. If I can find what I did with my bone folder. Okay, we don't know where the bone folder is. We're just going to wing it. So you just do some really nice creases on this. Oh, you're near Seattle. Bremerton. I know where Bremerton's at. Oh, yeah. You're on the wet side of the mountain. I'm over here in the dry side in Yakima. Okay. So now here is our actual easel. We've got that, okay? So we're going to set that aside. And now we're going to create our piano lid. And with your other piece of black cardstock, okay, this is going to stay at 4 1/4, and then we're going to also cut it at 5 1/2. So it's a normal easel size, okay? So if you were doing a regular easel card, what you would do is mount your piece directly on there like that, and you have your easel, okay? But we're going to make this look like a piano lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the Big Shot, and the way I created this piano lid was I actually just used a heart die. So whatever large heart dies you have, okay, I just grabbed one out of my die cabinet, and what I'm going to do is we're going to create our piano top, and I'm going to show you how you do that with only using a partial die cut, okay? Now we know that we don't want it to go below where our easel is, so just kind of make a mental note at your 2 3/4 there, and then we're just going to lay our heart right on there. So our cut is actually going to be right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is, now you only want to do a partial die cut. So when you want to do that, let's move this up just a little bit. And I'm using a magnetic platform, 1 plate, and we're moving it off the edge here. And then we're only going to put our plate, oops, you see I'm fumbling during live. I'm really nervous because I can't edit it. So we've got our die there, and we're only going to put our plate as far as we want to cut it, okay? So that's all the farther we're going to do the die cut plate. That way you don't cut out your whole heart there. And then you just run it through. And it's only going to cut where the plate was. And there you have it. You have your piano top right there. Okay, let's move this out of the way. So now we have our piano top, and we're going to decorate it. I find using these little pieces of paper that come from your Stamparatus are great for just little project papers. There's a huge delay in my videos, so if I missed your comment, I'm not I'm not ignoring you. I have a huge delay in seeing the comments and the video. It's a little odd. So now we're just going to decorate this. And what I did is I took from our music, I'm going to take out a couple stamps here. Now normally, every time I stamp, I use my Stamparatus, but this is a pretty simple one to just use your blocks. And so I'm going to put my little music note on here first, and we're going to do that in Versamark. So you want to make sure that you use your embossing buddy. And I'm going to use, for my my lines for my notes, I'm going to use this shimmer white embossing powder. You could use regular white if you don't have the shimmer, but you know, I kind of like that everything shiny kind of thing on my card. You know, the more shiny and blingy it is, the better. So let's go ahead and get our images here stamped in Versamark. I'm going to put it about right there because I want to leave room for my birthday greeting. So you can't really see it in the Versamark, but we're going to go ahead and add our lines for that the notes are going to go on to. And for that I'll just use a long block. And I don't want my lines to go all the way to the edge. I kind of like to have an edge there so it's not going right off the edge of the paper. So all you need to do for that is I'm going to grab a little used sticky note here and I'm just going to put it on the edge of my project right there. Just because I don't want it to go off, my lines to go off the edge. And you can still see where your note is. And we'll just stamp some lines there. And let's bring in our embossing powder. I'm just using a scrap paper to catch my embossing powder. Oh, hi Wendy. I'm so glad you made it. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Oh, look at the hearts. I love you guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I don't do live. I don't think well, I may have done one live a long time ago, but you know, I'm one of those people that, you know, sometimes the little filter between my brain and my mouth malfunctions a little bit. Let me get a tiny little brush to get the parts of the embossing powder because it'll show. So I'm just going to get the little pieces of embossing powder off that I don't want there before we heat set it. And make sure we have plenty on there. And now we're just going to heat set it. I would always suggest putting your powder back in your container before the heat gun, but you'll only not do that once, and all your embossing powder goes everywhere. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Well, we're going to bring in our heat tool and heat set that. Sometimes I like to heat from the back a little bit, and it just kind of helps keep your paper from warping. Isn't that white shimmer so pretty? I just love it. Okay, well now we want to add a few notes to this. So what we're going to do is we'll bring in a couple of notes here. Got our tiny little block. And there's about 3 different types of notes here. And you know, I used to be in bands. Oh, hi Mary. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I used to be in band and I would be able to tell you what these are, but I guess that was like 40 years ago, so I can't even tell you the official name of your notes. If you know them, go ahead and put them up there. I'd love to remember. I know this is called a treble clef. I'm almost positive that's what that's called, but I don't remember the different notes. Okay, so now we're going to use Versamark again. I would still go ahead and use your embossing buddy a little bit, just so you don't get it where you don't want it. And we're going to emboss these in black, and they're going to show up. You'll see they'll show up on there over the notes. So I'm going to do one right side up and one upside down. And then I'm going to add one more little note in there. Let's go ahead and put it right in the, oops, left, it's stuck to my, it's stuck to my Versamark. Okay, so let's add one more note right in the middle there. Let's put it about there. And now we're just going to use regular black embossing powder. I'll put this little note back where it belongs there. These are those tiny little ones. Oh, thanks, Mary. Yeah, I'm really glad Facebook's not giving me problems, too. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't know if it was. This is literally my first scheduled Facebook Live. I've not done them. So, but there's some, I have several team members that live in different states than I do. So they're not like my local girls that come and craft with me every week and we just build cards. So it was suggested to me that I build cards with everybody else. So here we are. Hi, Tammy. Is it wet over in Washougal? You guys have been getting quite the weather over there. I'm thinking we're getting an early spring here, but you know, we had that late, bad winter last year, so I'm waiting for it to hit. Okay, now we got our black notes, and we're just going to heat set. Oops, and we have a party foul. Okay, I'll pick that up after. You know, if I'm going to do it, I might as well just do it right on live video. There you go. So let's heat set this, and try not to hit the powder that I spilled all over my desk. That's the one thing I guess about lives, is that you guys get to see all the mistakes before they're edited. But I guess I won't be editing them. I guess that just kind of keeps it real. And see how the black notes really kind of stand out on there? Well, now I wanted them to stand out even more. So what I did, I'll pick up a little bit of this. What I did was, if you have it, there's a die called Detailed Hearts. And it does this big detailed set of heart dies. I did a foiling tutorial using it a couple weeks ago for our Valentine blog hop. Well, beside the fact it makes this really cool framed foiled heart, you also get all these tiny little hearts left over. So I just punched them out. I put them in a little jar, but I'm just going to take a couple of these little tiny hearts and pop them out of here. And we're going to put them on the notes. And that way you have little tiny hearts for notes. If I can pop them out of here. I tried to leave them in the die cut when I die cut it so I could show you what it looked like. Let me grab a pair of tweezers here. So you can use them for other things. So it's kind of, you could use your die brush to pop them all out of here, but I figured I'd just have them ready here. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I often have odd ideas for cards. I guess what you would call a unique vision sometimes. But when I saw the set with the music notes, it just made me think of a piano. You know, like if you were in band, you know how normally when you start music, you end up with, you know, learning piano class first, which I had to do, so I just thought about it. And I have some good friends. One of them is a, oh, he lives on Whidbey, by the way, Tammy, but he's a music teacher. So I thought, what a perfect set for him. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the notes here. You could use glue dots too. I'm just a glue girl. So I'm just going to pick up a couple of these little hearts. And I thought that the red foil just stood out really nicely on black. If I could zoom in, I would, you guys, but for some reason my video program is not pulling up my ability to zoom in, so I hope you can see this okay. Oh, did my video stall? I think I stalled, didn't I? Oh my. Well, I'm going to keep going. On my end, it looks like the video stalled, and I apologize. I don't know how to fix that. Try to pick up these little tiny hearts. And then I'm going to show you how I made the rose flower. Put these little hearts on here, and then we're good to go. Oops, I picked it up with my finger. I have glue on my finger, so it picked it up. Okay, so now we have our little notes ready. I'm going to move this aside. Okay, so now for the little flower, what I used, oh good, it didn't stall. Thank you, Wendy. We are going to use for this flower, and I just kind of wanted an outline. I didn't want anything really bold right there. So what I used is, this is in the annual catalog, and it's called Botanical Tags. And there's this little rose that's a tag, and we're going to use that. So what I'll do is I'll bring in the Big Shot. Oh, are you trying to broadcast landscape still, Mary? Yeah, I assume you're using your phone. I'm actually using a desktop computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this rose out in the red foil. It's been so long since I used my manual Big Shot. I have a power machine that I normally use because my I'm kind of still losing use of my right hand, so it's hard for me to use the manual one. So I'm using my left. And now I'm going to cut out just the leaves of the rose, and we will attach it to this piece. So you don't need to cut out the whole rose, but just make sure you have a piece of the rose there so that you'll have something to attach. So see, we have our leaves there. Let me move this out of our way again. Oh my gosh, can you guys hear my my baby girls are crying at the she cave door? My dogs do not handle rejection well at all, and they hate closed doors. They have, oh, hi Debbie, welcome from Michigan. Wow. Wonder how your guys' weather's going. Okay, I don't think I cut out those leaves all the way. So I'm going to run that back through. Nonetheless, what you're going to do is, I'll just show you real quick. So you're going to trim out, when you punch these out, you will see the frame of the rose, okay? And all you're going to do is trim close around it and end up with the frame of the rose. Okay, so you're ending up, oops, it didn't trim it all the way through. So anyway, you're going to have your frame of your rose, and then you're going to take just a piece of the green, saving yourself just a little bit of the red, and just laying the green foil over the top of the leaves there, okay? And then you end up with this. So that piece, I won't bore you with fussy cutting. I do a lot of fussy cutting, so. Boy, I'm a messy crafter, aren't I? Look at my table go crazy here. Okay, so now I'm just going to use a little bit of glue on this. You can use, a lot of people I know are good with their snail, so that it doesn't show through when you're doing small words or flowers like this. I don't do very well, so I'm just going to put this rose right here. And I just love the way it accents on black, okay? So now, for our greeting, all we're going to do there is grab our happy birthday. And this is from our happy birthday to you. And this one, I do need to use my Stamparatus. Especially when you get this far into the bottom of your project. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. Oh, Dina, you got snowy Colorado. Wow. Yeah, we just really didn't get much snow over here on the, well, I'm in like the south central part of Washington, and we've got some snow in the mountains, which is good. Our farmers need it, but last year it was late February. We just got snowed in bad, but I don't know that that's going to happen this year. It's about, I'm going to say it's probably low 50s here today. Okay, now this one, I would use your Stamparatus because you don't want to get that far and then mess it up, you know? So bring in your embossing buddy, and we're just going to do this in regular white. And the only reason I'm going to do that in regular white is I want the shimmer white that we use to kind of stand out. So I'm just going to leave that the where it is. And we're just going to do regular white birthday greeting here. Or if you have a die cut, like I did on our original, on the original card, I just took a die cut white happy birthday and put it on there. But I really like the script of this set, so. And when I'm doing something fine like this, I usually like to ink it twice and stamp it twice, just to make sure. Cold and snowy where Debbie's at too. Wow. Okay, I should be really happy with the weather we got. But we do get great weather where I'm at. We get the seasons, which is nice, but we get great weather. And I come from, my original hometown is Las Vegas, Nevada, and we had no seasons. You had hot or moderately hot. Well, now here in Washington, we get fall, we get winter, and I still enjoy it. I still enjoy getting the seasons. And plus, you know, kind of being retired and self-employed, if it's snowing real bad, I don't have to go out in it if I don't want to. If it's hot, I don't have to go out in it. Okay, and I've got my little brush to pick up any little spots. Okay, all the measurements and products used I will put in the description of the video for you. Well, it'll be on my blog. I'll put this on the blog so you guys have it, pictures. Alright, now we're just going to heat set that. You know, this is kind of fun. I like doing live. I feel like we're just all crafting together. And I love that. Yeah, it's a huge change from Las Vegas, Karen. And the people, Las Vegas, you know, people tease, you know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They're not lying. People don't socialize there like they do this tiny little town I live in now. You know, people in Vegas are very much just about themselves. Okay, now we've got our cover done. Now we get to do the fun part, which is make our piano keys. And what I'm going to do is our piano keys, we're going to take a piece of scrap white once I find it. Once I find where I put it, here it is. Look at my craft area. I'm a messy crafter, my goodness. Okay, yeah, I have a whole she cave and I take it all up. Okay, so for our keys, what we're going to use is I'm going to use 1/2-inch pieces that are about 2.5 inches long. And the reason, how you come to your 2.5 is to try to figure out where you want your easel to stand up. And if you looked at it, you know, 2.5 is about right to make your piano top stand up where you want it. So all we're going to do is bring in our trimmer. And the easiest way I do this, so you figure your 2.5 across, or 2.5 up, and your 4 1/4. So just cut several of them. I'm going to say, well, let's see, this one will tell us how many at 2.5 by 1/2 inch, and we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8, and I trimmed the edges. So let's cut this. Let's go ahead and cut it at 2.5 first, because that's the length of our keys. And now we're just going to do 1/2 inch keys. So our 1/2 inches right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut at least 8 or 9 of those. Move some stuff out of the way here. Okay, so we're going to cut 8 or 9 of those. Just 2. How many was that? 5? Lost count. 6. Let's do 9. 7. 8. Now I'm going to also let you know there's probably an easier way you could do this that isn't as detailed. And all you would do, if you didn't want to go through this, where you're going to have to put keys down, is you could actually just cut a piece of white that's 1/2 or 2.5 inches wide by 4 1/4, and you could actually just draw your key lines. I'm a little too, you know, kind of need more detail kind of girl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just start by laying them out here and see if my end ones have to be trimmed off. I'm just doing a tiny little space between them, like a micro space. So I'm just going to kind of lay them on here. Okay, so that'll work. And what I'm going to do, so we have a guideline, so I'm going to go 2.5 inches up here. Where's my pencil? And pencil will show up on black. So I'm just going to do a little 2.5 inch mark just in a couple places here. And then I'm just going to draw a pencil line across there. And that's just going to give you a guideline to put your keys on straight. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. So your pencil will show up on black, and you can always erase it. So let's go ahead and start putting our keys on there. Now, I do use glue for this because you can shift it just a little bit with glue. Okay, so let's take our first one, line it up on our line and with the edge of our paper there. And you can see, just kind of level it up with the edge of your paper. And I'm going to eyeball this, but what you could do if you were trying to get exact spaces is make, you know, like you do when you lay tile, make a shim, you know, if that would help. But I think, you know, just eyeball it. All you need is a tiny little black mark to show through that gives it definition of being a key. So it's, you know, we're crafters, we're not perfect, and, you know, some of that is your own artistic showing through, you know what I mean? So don't worry too much about it. I think they're just going to be impressed that you made a card that looks like a piano. And having that guideline really helps to have that. And with the glue, as you see, I can shift it just a little bit to move it. You have a, oop, we have a runner. I bet that landed glue side down, didn't it? You have just a couple seconds to shift it with the glue. Okay, now you see I didn't get that one down far enough, but that's okay. We're okay. It's all good. I wouldn't want you to think I'm perfect or anything, you know what I mean? But I'm not. I just like to have fun. Make interesting projects. Okay, looks like we might take about 2 more here. Okay, I just got glue on that, and I'm going to show you a trick when you get glue on your projects, how to get it off. Wait for it to dry, and then I'll show you how to take glue off. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Okay, now this one, we're a little bit off, so I might be able to shift the second one to close up the gap. Okay, so you saw I had a little bit of glue on there. They make an item, and I think Stampin' Up! Used to have it, and it's a glue eraser. It actually just takes the glue off. Make sure it's dry, and then this little eraser just takes the glue off. And now this is going to be okay, that tiny little gap, because remember we've got our second row of keys. So you have your black, and now bring in your punch. I believe this is called, losing the word. Classic label? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the classic label. And we're going to cut out, let's see, we need 2, 3, maybe 5. How many did we put on our other one? This one had 7. So let's go ahead and just cut some of those out. It is classic label. Thanks, Karen. I don't have my book in front of me. I don't remember who it was I saw that actually remembers to, they write their what they are right on their punch. Well, that would seem really efficient. I'm not that efficient. So I'm just cutting out several of these. Okay, so if I recall, pianos have like a 3 and a 2. A 2, 3, 2 on their black keys. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put those on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Okay, and I believe they fit. Let me make sure the large ones are going to fit. We may need the minis. You know, that's really close for the white showing. So you could, I think I'm going to use the mini dimensionals, or we could use the black dimensionals. Let's go ahead and use the black mini dimensionals for this. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put a couple dimensionals on here, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing because we're not going to be using the whole piece, okay? Hey Tom, hi, how are you? How are you, Barb? I always want to call you Tom because your Facebook says Tom, but I know it's you, Barb. I do. Okay, so now your keys here, you don't want them to go all the way down, so, and put the point right at one of your lines there, okay? And put your first one down. And we will trim this part off when we're all done. So let's go ahead and keep doing that. So I'm only putting 2 dimensionals so that it'll be strong there. Didn't you just love when these black dimensionals came out? Oh my gosh. How smart was that? So I'm going to put 3 here first. These little dimensional papers that come off your dimensionals, they're everywhere in my house. I don't know how they get, well, okay, that's probably a fib. I do know how they get moved around. If I drop them or something, they stick to my dogs, and I end up with little tiny dimensional papers all over my house. Hi, Danette. Oh, thank you for joining me. We're doing a Sunday craft day. Okay, we've got our 3 keys, and let's do a couple more. So usually I think a piano is 3, 2, 3. I know, animals carry them everywhere. One of my other videos, I may have mentioned it. My husband yells through the house, come here, there's something wrong with the dog. I'm like, oh crud, what's wrong with the dog? So I go out there and he's like, look, she's got this horrible growth on her nose. Oh no, we gotta go to the vet, and it's gonna cost a fortune, and blah blah blah. Yeah, she had a dimensional stuck to her nose. It was pretty comical, but boy, my husband was sure scared. Thought she had some horrible thing that happened to her out in the yard. But she didn't. She experienced craft room dimensional syndrome. Okay, now this last one that goes on the edge, I am letting it hang over. We're just going to trim it off. Oh, look at that. I punched out just enough. So you need 1, 2, 7 piano. What are these piano keys called, you guys? Yeah, glitter. Right, Barb? I love Christmas time. My dogs are all full of glitter. I don't know how I just did that. Oops. Okay, party foul. Okay, we're going to put our last one on. Right about there. And then all we need to do, as you see, they are overlapped a little bit. So we're just going to take our snips, snip them off. Just that simple. It's easier than trying to, you know, cut them all perfectly to size and then lay them on there. So just trim them off. And we have a little bit overhanging here. So we're just going to go to the back side and trim it straight off. Looks like I got the dimensional with that one. So now, all you have to do, now this part where you're going to put your greeting is simply a, what size is it? I would put my greeting here on your fold side, okay? And the inside, that'll be, what did I have? It's about 2.5 by 3 3/4. Stamp your greeting, whatever you choose, and I would do it on white and mount it right there. But now we're going to attach our piano top. So what you do is you just put glue on this part only, and I would do it on the card base side so that you don't get glue where you don't want it. Fold your card shut, line up the bottom right on the edge there. Okay, now what I did for this part here was on the card I did originally, I had music notes, and what this was some old DSP that is discontinued, and I thought that was kind of bad of me to use something discontinued. So what we can do is you take, for your DSP piece is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8 right here. And all I did is take a piece of white cardstock and stamped some of our music pieces here. Okay? Just take those and randomly stamp them on your stock, and it looks perfect. I think it's going to be perfect. So do you guys want me to show you how I stamped that, or do you got it? Because if you don't, we'll do it. That's fine with me. But all I'm going to do is put this right here. Okay? Like this. So let's do that. We're just going to add it on there. I always use glue because I can move it. And the only reason I do this after is in case it's hanging over down here, then it's going to stop your easel from going on, your easel face piece from going on. So we're just going to put that right up against the edge there. And there you go. You have your easel birthday card. And then when you close it, it will fit in a regular standard envelope, and you're good to go. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for joining me. That's it, you guys. That is how simple that little piano easel card is. And don't forget, your inside measurement, and I'll have all the measurements for everything, is 2.5 by 3 3/4, and that'll give you a little bit of a border around it, and you can stamp your greeting. I would suggest putting your, sorry about that, putting your greeting here and not where your piano easel is, because that would show through right there. Okay, that's it today. Do you like glue better than... Yes, I actually do, Barb. Because, like I said, glue is forgiving to me because I can move things around and shift them. I do use snail on some things, but I know that my card's going to stay together. And, aw, thank you for the hearts and the lovies. So, that is our card today. I hope you liked it, and I really, really appreciate you joining me on my first Facebook Live. And I'm hoping we can do this. I'd like to do this a couple times a week, and we'll just make a card. Um, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but I like making cards with my people all the time, so why not do it with you? Because I know all of you too. You're like family. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the card. And feel free to share if you make one. I'd love to see it. Thanks for joining me. Have a very happy Stampin' Day. Bye-bye now.